How's it going? Alright now, see if I can make a firewood video here. Today I want to talk about the 4 firewood myths. First thing I want to talk about here is there's bad firewood out there. Now I don't care if you're burning crepe myrtles or somebody's rhododendrons. All firewood is good firewood. I can light a match with the flick of a wrist. It's all in the motion. Flick that wrist. You can strike a match and light up a fire. It doesn't even matter. It'll burn. I got all kinds of firewood out there. I've burned dogwood. I've burned cedar. I've burned arborvitaes. You name it, I burn it. So the number one myth out there is that you gotta have good hardwood oak all the time and only oak or hickory or whatever it is. If it's got a good woody stem on it, it'll burn. I've burned English ivy. I've burned it all. So get you something that's flammable, strike up a match at the flick of a wrist and it'll burn. Just set it off in flames, set it ablaze. You happen to be in luck today. I brought you 2 examples of some firewood that's perfectly good firewood that most folks would probably look right over it. But I got this kind of wood all down through there in my wood pile. First off, I want to show you this. Now I did a short on this piece. It's been hanging around drying for a while, but that's some good burning firewood, and especially for your fire pits, that's perfectly acceptable firewood. And I kind of like the way that looks. The flames will look real neat dancing up down through there. So I'm kind of saving that, but perfectly good firewood. Again, nothing wrong with something like that. I would burn that, throw it right in my fireplace, get a nice hot fire and throw that on there. That's some good burning wood right there. Now, second, I wanted to show you this piece here. That's perfectly good firewood also. That's a piece of pine, and I've been drawing that out all year, and I just kind of keep holding on to it. But again, probably good for a fire pit, but you could burn that in a fireplace, and perfectly good firewood. Nothing wrong with that. All these little things around here will light right up. That's good kindling, so that'll light up like a fuse on a firecracker and get this center here burning. That's a good hot burning piece of wood right here. So there's 2 examples of some wood that most people probably wouldn't burn, but I can tell you right now there's nothing wrong with this. Strike a match at the flick of a wrist and it will burn. I don't care if it's chrysanthemum. On a cold winter night, you need something to keep you warm. Whatever burns will work. All right, now the second firewood myth that I want to talk about is when it's cold outside, you got to be ready to work and sell some firewood. Now, it is true that when it's colder than an Eskimo's outhouse outside, every Tom, Dick, and Harry that didn't think ahead and start buying wood in September or October like the rest of all of us firebugs, they're going to start calling. They're going to say, we should get some wood, and want to go and wake up in the morning and hit a button on the marketplace there and have wood delivered to them magically like it was Spock on Star Trek getting beamed up to their front door. That's just the way the modern world is. People want to hit a button and they want it there now, and if you don't do it, some other idiot will. So you got to be fast. But now, the myth is that you got to go do this. I'm like everybody else though. When we get a nice snowfall, I want to be enjoying my firewood just like everybody else. So what I would recommend doing when it gets cold and you know that storm's coming and it's time for you to enjoy your own firewood, turn off your phone, all the notifications, just turn it off. Go into your apps and everything else in there. You can get in there on your settings. I'm not going to show y'all how to do that because there's a lot of different phones. There's the Androids and the iPhones, but get on Google, figure it out. when it gets cold, turn off your phone, turn off the notifications, change your voicemail to "it's cold, I'm burning a fire, leave me alone," because those people should have been having wood by the end of October, as far as I'm concerned. And if they've already burned up your load and they need to re-up, well, they should have seen that it was going to storm and called you on Monday before there was already 10 inches of snow on the ground or whatever. See what I'm saying there? So make it work into your schedule is what I'm getting at. I think that's a good idea. Number 3, the next firewood myth is size matters. Size does not matter when it comes to firewood. I deal with all tree service wood, and if I wanted to waste all kinds of time and wood and energy and gas and effort and everything else and chainsaws, blade chains and what have you, I'd go cutting off a 2-inch cookie off of all this random crap that I got. But let me tell you, it does not matter. My customers stay very happy unless they have a small little itty bitty stove, and then I got my stove wood section. Now, you're selling yourself when you sell firewood a lot of the times. That's really 90% of the battle. You show up on time, you make them happy, you bring them some good hardwood. The size does not matter. It's the motion of the ocean, if you know what I'm saying. It's more important than anything. So don't worry about your size and your cuts and having perfect everything all the time. Don't even worry about it. Just cut some wood up and dry it up real nice and show up on time is what I gotta say. Now, the 4th and final myth I want to talk about today is that you don't need a lot of resources to start a small firewood business. Now, that's a bunch of malarkey. It takes a lot of wood to make a truckload of wood. You're going to need a wood splitter and some other basic tools as well. But as far as the wood's concerned, if you just got a couple acres, 2-3 acres of land, it's not going to work long term for you. You're going to need, if you think about it, to sell 100 ricks a year, there's only about a rick of firewood in a decent sized tree. You're not going to be able to cut down 100 trees on a couple acres all the time. You need a good source for a good amount of wood. Now, I source wood from all over, and like I said, remember this, it takes a lot of wood to make a truckload. So I got tree services. I source wood from individuals that have trees down. I do storm damage. I cut my own wood when I can get out in the woods. I got a lot of resources. Now, I was just looking on the internet the other day at some Yahoo, and he was selling walnut logs, and he was asking $600 for 3 or 4 itty bitty little sticks of walnut. Not very big. I'm talking there was probably 2 of them that were about 15 feet long, and there was a couple other little sticks of trunk wood in there. He wanted $600 for some walnut. Now, I don't know about you, but that's just crazy, and he's probably looking for some other idiot to get linked up with that'll actually pay that kind of money. That's just not that much money in firewood. To cut up 15 feet of that, even if you're going to saw that log, which it was a small little saw log, they weren't big 20-inch walnut logs. They were about 15 inches at the biggest. So you couldn't even get very much lumber out of that is what I'm getting at. I don't know what walnut's going for board foot of lumber, but it ain't $600 out of that little itty bitty patch, and then you got to make some money off of it. So if you're gonna put in all that work to go pick it up and pay the gas and spend the time and then work it all down in a sawmill and then have to sit on it and dry it and resell it, you're not going to be getting $1,200 for 40 feet of board foot lumber there. But some idiot will probably link up with them. There's a lot of idiots in the world if you haven't noticed. But the only way that would pay off is if you were highly skilled and you bought that walnut and you turned it into some $2,000 table or something, and even then it's going to take months and months of labor. And somebody that's that good at working with wood can source some damn lumber for cheaper than $600 for 2 little bitty sticks of it. So you got to watch yourself. It takes a lot of resources to make firewood, and it takes a lot of wood to make a truckload. So you're going to need a lot of cheap wood, and if you got a little land, you're not going to be able to do it on your own. Well, good buddy, that about concludes this video. I appreciate you watching. I hope you learned something. I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Make some firewood out there.